My name is Caitlin Duffy, and the title of my final project is called iScore. The idea behind my project was to allow golfers to keep track of their scores electronically. I played golf in high school, and it was always a big pain to carry around a paper scorecard and a pencil. If it were to ever rain or to be windy and it get knocked out of your hand, it was just a hassle. So I created an application that eliminated the need for a paper scorecard and provided users with more functionality through a mobile version. The mobile version is quick and easy to use and does all the math for you. Players can easily keep track of past rounds, and it's impossible to lose save records. Not to mention, it eliminates the need for carrying around that pesky paper scorecard and pencil. Here is view 1 of iScore. It displays the name of the golf course and shows a pin on the map where the golf course is located. The user can zoom in onto the pin and get a more detailed view of the golf course, see where the bodies of water are located, and the layout of what the course has to offer. When the user is ready to play, they can click on Let's Play. The user will then be taken to view 2, the scorecard page. The user can select an image for the round, enter in a name for the round, which in this case is test 123. Then, as the user plays each hole, they can record their score within the proper text box. Once the user is finished with the round, they can click Add. They can also add the scores up as they go. If they have a 3 and a 4 in hole 1 and 2, and zeros for 3 through 9, they can total up their score as they play each hole or wait till the end. The total of all the holes will then be displayed. If the user wants to save the round, they can click on Save Scores, but if they don't want to, they can exit or go back. Here in view 3, the user will be shown the saved rounds. The final score, round name, and round image will all be displayed. The user can click on the next button if they wish to see past rounds they have played or what their past scores were. Here is the MVC diagram for iScore. Starting with the controller can fetch score data, update the second view controller with new data, handle user taps and interactions, send final score round and round image to core data. The user actions from controller to the view will include navigation controls, tap control buttons, text buttons, and insert info or scores. The view will show the map, react to user taps and interactions, display name of the golf course, display data entry for each hole, display the final score, display images, display the round number, and update the golf scores. As the view updates going towards the controller, it will update the second view controller with image and scores. As the controller notifies the model that scores have been added, it will map location data, round image has been added, round number has been added, final score, and number of rounds played. The model will show core data and object models for final score for the round, image selected for the round number, each round played, and notify controller of data updates. And going from the model, updating to the controller, it will save final score, save round image, save rounds played. Here is the UML class diagram for iScore. You can see it starts with the UI view controller and it has a golf course for core data for holes 1 through 9, which are all NS managed strings, and then GC image, which stands for golf course image, which is an NS managed binary data. The view controller will have access to the map kit, which is a map view. It'll have view did load. It'll prepare for segue to the second view controller. It'll fetch data and it'll change the content. Now the second view controller will have a golf course image, which is the UI image, a text field for the round name, and text fields for holes 1 through 9, as well as view did load, preparing for a segue to the third view controller, an image picker controller. It'll allow you to select image action, save golf score action, as well as add the final score. The third view controller will have an image for the final displayed image, the final displayed name, as well as a label for the final displayed total score. It will have a view did load, as well as a segue to go backwards towards the second view controller, a clear all button if you would like to erase all data saved or all rounds, and next and previous actions to go back and forth between the rounds saved, as well as being able to fetch data and change the content. Now, the first view controller has access to the map kit, which has longitude and latitude and will fetch requests to display location data. iScore is capable of using the map kit and image picker. Each round is stored within core data, which includes the round name and image as well as the final score. The application is capable of shuffling back and forth using the previous and next buttons to view past save rounds. The application is also capable of adding the value of each hole to get final total score. The application is limited in the sense that it only allows the user to save scores for one player. It doesn't allow the user to keep track of the scores for everyone playing in the round. Everyone would need to have the app downloaded on their phone to keep track of their own scores. Unfortunately, one person cannot keep scores for all 4 players on one phone. Each player would need to have their own phone and their own app. The application is also limited due to the fact that iScore can only keep track of rounds consisting of 9 holes and not rounds where 18 holes are played. In order to save 18 holes within the application, you would have to save them 9 at a time, so the first one could have a round title called Augusta Ranch Round 1 Front 9, and then as you play the back 9, it could be Augusta Ranch Round 2 Back 9. So it would be the same day, but front and back 9 in one round. After completing my project and based on the entire class in general, I have learned that core data can be beneficial, especially if you want to close the app and come back to it later. I learned about the map kit and not only how to search locations on the map, but also how to display a single location using a red pin. I learned how to set up functionality to allow the user to select an image, as well as how to add values for multiple text boxes without getting an overflow error. The most important thing I learned from this project, though, is how to effectively manage my time and get things completed beforehand rather than procrastinating. Since this project was due the last week, there are several things I am required to do in order to prepare for finals, so it was good that I was able to separate my time accordingly to accomplish this final project, and it definitely helped that it came in phases. I also learned that the internet is a great resource for when you get stuck on Xcode. There were a few issues within mine that I had a hard time solving, and Stack Overflow definitely helped me work out those complications. The only suggestions and improvements I would make are that I found the labs to be way more helpful, and I gained more knowledge about Swift from the labs rather than the homework. The homework was often confusing. It took several concepts and put them together, and I didn't necessarily understand or feel like I had enough information to do so on my own. I spent a lot of time Googling and watching YouTube videos, and I felt like the homeworks were often tedious. And it was hard to balance the weeks where we were given a lab and a homework at the same time. Homeworks generally took a decent amount of time, and I felt it took away from the learning experience of the lab because I wasn't able to focus on the lab as much due to the assigned homework. The labs for me were more broken down, a little more simple. We were given a start if we paid attention in lecture and then could figure out the rest on our own. But the biggest thing I would suggest making a change on is recording lectures or posting tutorial videos. When I started this class, Xcode was completely a brand new concept to me, and I knew nothing besides how to work my own iPhone. I didn't have any experience programming with Xcode or Swift or the MVC structure, and I sat and watched several YouTube videos sometimes to accomplish labs and homeworks because I couldn't remember what happened in lecture, or I was confused about what I wrote in my notes. And sometimes I think it would have been helpful to go back and listen to you explain things again, because the way you explained things was way more simple than some of the people on YouTube, and it made more sense and it was easier to apply to the current project at hand. And that's it.